Hi everyone, Frederick here at Simple System Trading. Quick video on the update of the local trade copier. New video. I will leave the old video as well. We'll share some updates to the studies in this video. I have two instances here of zero chart loaded. One is a different version, you see 2774, and another newer version here. Those are loaded separate charts here. This is my left side is my transmitter and the right side is my receiver chart. We will go through some of the study settings in a bit, but I first wanted to highlight a few settings you can set for improving speed, right? There is a few things. There's global settings. Global settings on the general side has chart update interval. I don't touch this on the global side because I think you should do that on the chart side. So chart settings, there is the performance tab here. There is a minimum chart update for Axial with update always. You should set that to 10 milliseconds. So that's nice and crisp, really quick. You can change that and that will make the local trade copier a bit faster because the updates are quicker. There is another setting here, display. That's the chart update interval, so the actual update interval of the full chart. You can set that to something like 10 as well. This chart update interval you need to be careful with because it can increase your CPU usage. If you have all your charts set to 10 with a lot of studies on them, it will crank up your CPU usage. So you should be conscious about this choice, and that's why I never do it on the global, but always on the chart level to set that chart update interval. This done on the transmitter. The same was done on the receiver end as well. You see here, these are global settings here, and the chart settings update to 10, and the performance thing here to 10 as well. And with that, it becomes really quick. There's hardly any delay on those actions. And you can also check the message log. I have message log here. And you will see a timestamp there, right? And there's the same message log here. So I'll have to get up and show it to you. And, the study just simply logs the output of the study. You can set that to no as well, but it has a timestamp, which will allow you to have a look at some of the delays. So, the cancellation of the last open order here was at 32,373. And here on the receiver end 32,388. So it gives you an idea on the delays that can happen. They're fairly minimum, but due to the share chart calculation cycle, they could go up to 200 milliseconds, but kind of depends on your setup. Normally it should be fairly quick, but you can monitor it yourself as well. All right, then for some of the additions. So the additions on the transmitter side here, there's been a rewrite on the order of the inputs. Also added quite a few inputs here. Some will look very familiar with the previous one in the previous video. I'll go through them quickly, and then we end up with some demoing on the buttons and an additional study that's available in the request bundle, so you can adjust the look and feel on the receiver end as well. Chart origin mode. Oh, and before I forget, always the study description button here uh, gives you all the need to know on the study and its settings as well. Origin mode, I'll try to explain it a bit better than in the previous video. All right, to explain chart origin mode and any origin, chart origin and any origin a bit better, let's have a look at two charts here. One has the transmitter loaded and the other one does not. This is the same symbol, the same account. So any, any trade will be visible on both charts. It's just the same trade. It's not anything different. It's just the same account on the same trading symbol. So it will show on both charts, right? But if you want to, you might have different trading strategies, you might scalp on this one and do a swing trade on this one when you enter. If you have different entry charts for whatever reason, and you only want to copy a particular strategy, you can set this chart with the study loaded to chart origin, right? So then only the trade, the orders that are started from that same chart will be copied over. That's the chart origin feature. If you would initiate a trade, an order from the other chart here, which is still visible here, but it won't be picked up by the copier here, by the transmitter. So it won't be traded on the receiver. So that's an option you have if you trade from different entry charts and you want to limit whatever you want to send to the copier as the copier. All right. So that's a quick thing on chart origin and any origin. The tag is as discussed in the previous video, scaling in and out as well. Default settings are all pretty good. Adding and reducing, you can decide if you want to send that target and stop. It's the same. Yeah, absolute prices is now an option. That's a new thing. Everything standard is relative. So from the entry price or from the parent order price, it was a relative amount of ticks for target and stops. I think that can be useful still, and definitely useful if you trade different products. But some folks would have different fills, and that can happen, and they want actually that the target and stop hit a particular price, the same price, although a fill might be different. And that can now be supported using this setting, using absolute pricing for target and stops. Open waiting orders, so that's basically your limit and your stop orders support. If you don't use that, then you will only get signals sent when your trade position changes. Flat signal on last target and stop being hit. Yeah, if you use bracket orders on the receiver, you don't really need this. If you don't, then you do need this. So the default is yes, but it kind of depends what you want to do on your receiver end. Send a loaded trade config file. If you use the trade config file here in the corner here in the trade window config, you can set up different bracket schemes. If you want to send that when you select one or change one, then the receiver can load the same one, right? The names will need to be the same, else it can't load it on the receiver end. But if you set up particular brackets and you want to quickly change, you can have your receiver follow those changes as well. But then you would need to use it and set that setting here to yes. We can quickly demonstrate that. So we'll set this to yes. We'll change this bracket here. See if I need to set it here as well. Here, process trade window. Obviously. So if you change it here, you'll change it there as well. And it will have the same configuration on your pre-configured brackets here. So that's a useful feature if you want to quickly move your bracket strategy, right? So that works. What else we got? Reversal support, flatten when reversal is not allowed. So what does that mean? Well, we have options now on the transmitter to toggle long and shorts, right? And if you do a reverse, but you go from long to short, but you toggle the short off, that reversal will not be allowed. And then you can send a flattened signal if that's not allowed. If you don't send the flattened signal, then the receiver will still continue to be in the trade it's in. And it will not reverse, but it will also not flatten, right? So again, depends what you want to accomplish, but it's a more granular setting here in case of reversals. Flattened position when no working orders. So to yes, it's kind of a safety thing. What can happen if you use brackets and if you use the entry orders with time in force of day, right? If you're at the end of the day, you're in a position with bracket orders, and the time in force is day, then your bracket orders will be removed when the market closes, right? And when the market's back open, you will be in a position without any brackets. So to prevent that, you can basically set to flatten the position with no working orders. So that's a little added safety option if you use time in force of day. Then we come to the advanced custom study buttons. I said in a few other videos how you can adjust that, but you have to go to your customized control bar to add these custom study buttons there, right? So that's advanced custom study buttons here. You can add them to any control bar. And those button numbers will be the reference in the settings here. So you can get a ACS button for on and off. You get another one for toggling longs, another one for toggling shorts. And if you use 0, they won't be used. Another one for the tag. And we'll go through what that means right now, right? So you see those buttons populate here. You can adjust the text. You can adjust the colors as well. If you look at the subgraphs, these are the button colors for on and off. And the text is just a setting here in the study settings, right? And it kind of depends on what you would like to do. This shows green for on, text for on, and then off, it's just not doing anything, right? So now nothing is sent. And you can also check that here, and then we are sending stuff, right? So, but if you like a button to show what it will become when you click it, you have to change that particular text, right? I like it the way it is, but some people like to see a button with a text, what it will become if you click it, right? Now the status is what the text is. So you can quickly change that. So if you like to see what it will become, you just quickly do this off and on. Keep the colors as they are. Will basically mean if I click it, it will go off. If I click it, it will go on, right? You see the text change here as well. That's added to the study display. If you don't want text added or you want different text, you can change that here. It's comma separated, so on, comma, off, the on side and the off side. You can change that any way you want. Same thing for the longs and the shorts, right? If longs are off, we will not send long signal. If longs are on, we do send them just like that. Shorts, same thing. So that's the thing on shorts, longs, and toggling on and off. The tag on and off is basically useful if you have multiple receivers to switch on the receiver side quickly. So this will turn off all the receivers at once from the transmitter side, right? And the same goes for on. So it's a quick way to turn everything on and off on the same tag. So this is based on tag. If I would change the tag here to something else, it will not react. So that's an addition to the 2.2 version. What else do we got? I also have added a few subgraphs here for enabled, long off, and short off. A subgraph will be filled with a 1 for on and a -1 for off, and then you can use that to visualize that. So I'll show you real quick. There's a new study in the request bundle right here, which will draw a rectangle based on alert condition. So what we could do here is just based on the enabled subgraph, that's subgraph 6 here of ID 1. So we can quickly draw a rectangle for visualization. So ID 1.sg6 equals -1, right? If it's -1, it's off, then I want to show a border of red, for instance. You have all these options to draw that rectangle. With this, a default option will draw basically a border of 20 around your chart, right? You can add text as well, but we'll just keep it as it is right now. So if I turn off the study, you will see that rectangle. Turn it on, it's back to normal. So you can use that on the transmitter side. You can definitely use that on the receiving end as well, because the receiver has a few subgraphs there as well for enabled, long, short, on and off, but also for pending orders in a position, and if you want just longs and shorts on pending side as well. So you could quickly see if a receiver is in a position just by using that drawing on the receiver end. So we'll not go through that particular study in more detail, but this has a lot of options to draw that rectangle, either a border or the full width, full background. You know, if you don't use transparency, you basically have a full chart rectangle being drawn with the colors used. So if you want to have that fully red background, you can, right? So that's all up to you. But it's an addition. It's in the request bundle, $39, lifetime license, continuously added, so you can use that. Whatever else do we got here on the transmitter? Nothing more on the transmitter side. On the receiver end, let's have a look there. The added subgraphs for the same reasoning, so you can visually show the status. For the rest, we changed a few of the formatting here of the inputs. This is the same position size. It's standard, it's 1, set to 1, but that's one of the most the mistake most people make when they first start it. They don't change it, and then it doesn't work when they add a trade or something else. You make sure this is appropriately set, exposition size. It's a safety feature to never go beyond that. You can use the check mark in the trade window. It's a separate setting, so just if you use it a lot, you can just keep this to yes, and then this one will work, right? In the standard, this one doesn't work. It's set to no, but if you just use it a lot, you can set that one to yes. Trade sizing, you can base that on the trade window on the receiver, or based on the sender side, whatever you want. You can add a factor to it. This factor, it can be a decimal, so 0.5 to half the size, or a 2 to double the size, etc. Scaling in and out, you can, it's probably best if you do from transmitter. That will keep it the same, but you can go independent as well, fully yes or fully no. Very flexible in that regard. Adding and reducing options as well. If you go work something different on adding and reducing, just do some testing, some size options as well. The same goes for reversals. Just test it out and see if that fits your strategy. Flatten and cancel on reversal signal. If you don't want to, if you have a receiver, one working with reversals and another one on another account, you don't want to do that, then you simply have options to use it. Process flattened signals. If you don't want to use it, you can set this to no. Depends if you use brackets or not. If you want to keep the receiver running anyway, because you have some testing on different risk reward strategies, and you just want to let the trade play out, but on some receiver and not on others, then you can just set this to no. Process target and stops as is unchanged. Timing force, again I went over that timing force option. Also here an added option to flatten if you don't have any working orders and you are in a position. The out of sync options here, those are safety features. I do recommend you keep them on. It's basically disallowing any new orders if you're out of sync, and out of sync means the transmitter being long and the receiver not in a position or even short, and that will not, this setting will disallow any new waiting orders, because if you're out of sync, you're going to be basically out of sync in a worse way if you keep adding trades. So this is a safety feature. It should not really happen, but in the wild market, depending on your trading style, it could happen, and this will just limit your out of sync loss. Same goes for flatten with the new open or waiting orders. If you're out of sync and you do get a new open or waiting order in from the transmitter, this will flatten out your receiver immediately. So basically we'll just make sure you're flattened because there was a out of sync detected. Process to text tag, process to trade window config file. Text tag is something that can be set right here on the transmitter side, and it can be transmitted with those trades, and it will show up in your trade activity log if you use your trade activity log and set that tag. You can also have the same tag in the receiver end. Trade window config file we demoed, so that's all good. The same thing we demoed on the transmitter side is use of buttons, and works the same here. So yeah, and that's it for the additions and quick changes to the local trade copier. I'll wrap up this video. If you do have any questions, just send me an email and I will try to respond. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.